Hello guys, it's me Riadh, an English teacher. This is another online lesson devoted to fourth year students. Self-management is the last but one lesson of the last module entitled Life Issues for arts, maths, economics, computer science, and sciences students. You can find the links to the previous lessons in the description box below. If you're interested and you want to find out more, please continue watching this video. Before getting started, let's see what this lesson's objectives are. By the end of the lesson, the students will be able to give tips on how to manage a company's staff successfully by watching a video to answer some comprehension questions, reading a text to answer some comprehension questions, understanding vocabulary from the context, listening to an audio, and taking notes to complete a diagram. The words or expressions the students are meant to acquire in this lesson are assets, culprit, employee, employer, horrendous, management, reprimand, resignation, shift, staff, to fire, to manage, to quit a job, to resign, and utterly. If you want to be notified whenever I upload a new video, you can follow me on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. And don't forget to share this video and to send it to as many of your friends as possible so that they can make the most of it. So we will start the lesson with this astonishing video. As usual, I would like you to watch the video and say what it is about and why the employee has behaved this way. Let's watch.
All right, ready? Okay, my name's I've worked in this hotel, the Providence Renaissance, for 3.5 years. They treat us like here, and I'm going to go in and quit right now with the help of my bandmates in the What Cheer Brigade. Woo! Right. So here we go through the employee entrance now.
What the hell is this? Guys, what is this? Guys, all of you, out right now.
Jared, I'm here to tell you that I'm quitting.
What?
Weird, isn't it? Now let's correct. This video is about an employee who seems to be dissatisfied with the working conditions at the hotel. He decided to celebrate his resignation with his bandmates. He said that he was poorly treated by his boss, who seems to be very tough and hard to deal with. To find out more about the reasons for resignation, I would like you to read this letter and write down the factors that had caused him to resign. Now, after reading the text, it seems that the employees was right to quit. Based on what the letter of resignation he wrote says, the working conditions were awful, the staff management seems to be poor, the boss seems to be authoritarian and demanding and lacks the basic principles of a good manager. In this letter, Joe said that the working conditions were horrendous, that the hotel employees were forced to work for long hours, that the housekeepers were being reprimanded for not doing what they were asked to do, that his boss didn't respect his employees, that he didn't hesitate to fire them, and that his poor management was the culprit factor for that. I think the manager knows nothing about staff management. So let's listen now this audio and learn about staff management.
New business owners often are shocked to find out how difficult managing employees can become. The problem is that every employee is different, and what's effective with one may not be effective for another. Please enjoy these 10 tips for successful employee management. Number 1, establish structure. Don't allow employees to walk all over you. There needs to be structure in the workplace. Consider setting goals and deadlines for employees so they can be responsible for completing their work on time. Number 2, use positive encouragement. You should encourage employees to meet goals and go above and beyond expectations. Offering rewards or additional compensation for outstanding performances will encourage employees to reach for the stars. Number 3, follow through with consequences. When employees do not meet their deadlines or behave inappropriately in the workplace, you will need to enforce negative consequences so employees can learn from their mistakes. If you never enforce the rules, then some employees will walk all over you. Number 4, always lead with a compliment. Whenever you need to criticize an employee, you should get in the habit of always leading with a compliment. If you just point out an employee's errors, they may feel like they're being attacked rather than getting constructive criticism. Number 5, make reasonable demands. Do not put unreasonable demands on employees. Keep in mind that people you hire may not always be as skilled at a task as you are. They may require more time to complete the assignment. Number 6, listen to your employees. You should always make sure to listen to your employees. If you encourage them to make positive suggestions, then they will feel more invested in the company and want it to succeed. Number 7, identify expertise in employees. Never be afraid to recognize employees' talents, as they may be able to complete specific tasks faster than others. This also presents a great opportunity to recognize and reward the employee for their expertise. Number 8, provide ways to improve. You should always provide ways for your employees to improve. This will show your employee that you are willing to invest in them while helping to improve their skills. Number 9, give employees their space. It's important to realize that employees are not going to spend every single second of their shift working. By giving employees some time to breathe, it will allow them to stay more focused while working on a project. Number 10, don't be afraid to fire someone. Sometimes you're going to have to fire an employee. It's inevitable. Some people just are not fit for a specific position, and you cannot be afraid to let them go. Additionally, sometimes budget problems will make it impossible to keep all of your employees. If you follow these 10 simple tips, you'll be amazed on how much easier it will be managing your employees. However, becoming a good boss is not something that will happen overnight. You're going to make some mistakes, but you can learn from these errors. And don't be afraid to ask employees for feedback.
These are precious tips, and I think that each one of us should follow them because it can help us improve not only on the professional level, but also on the social one. Effective staff management is important because this is the backbone of any business, and any poor industrial relation can mean that productivity will be low and staff turnover will be high. Staff should feel valued, and appreciated, and if you allow them to contribute their skills and experience, they will often be able to give to the company even more than what would normally be expected. Let's do now this vocabulary exercise. We will learn how to find synonyms from the text for some words. This is a very common question that students have in the reading comprehension exam. Students sometimes struggle and find it difficult to find the target words from the text. To maximize your chances and get the mark in such questions, let me help you with these strategies. First, you should identify the type of the word that you have in the synonym. For example, in the first one, we have to find a word from the text with the same meaning as extremely unpleasant or bad. Unpleasant and bad are adjectives, so we have to find an adjective from the second paragraph with the same meaning as extremely unpleasant or sad. Then, to limit your choices and options, I advise you to underline all the adjectives that you have in the paragraph. The adjectives that we have in this second paragraph are working, horrendous, increasing, and past. And it should be noted that the word we want the students to find in the text is completely new and a word that he has never learned or come across before. Then try to find the closest answer by trying to understand the context. So the context we have here is that the working conditions in this hotel are awful and very bad. Due to that, he decided to quit. So the correct answer is horrendous. Let's do another example before giving you some time to do the other words. The second explanation we have is a period of work. As you can see, we need a noun in the singular form. So as we said earlier, we should underline all the singular words in the paragraph and try to find a word which has the same meaning as the explanation. The only noun in the singular form is shift. The other nouns that we have, like conditions, months, incidences, workers, and housekeepers, are plural form, so they don't fit. You can pause the video now for 5 minutes and do the other words. Now let's correct. The third word is blamed. Here we need a past participle form with the same meaning as blamed, so the answer is reprimanded. The words with the same meaning as a person or thing causing a problem is culprit. So here again, we need a noun in the singular form. As for the verb with the same meaning as to force someone to leave, the answer is to fire. As you can see, in the explanation of the verb, we have an infinitive verb, which is to force, and the answer is to fire, which is in the infinitive form. The next word is staff, which means the personnel and all the employees employed in a company. Next, we need an adverb with the same meaning as completely, and the answer is utterly. Finally, we need a noun in the plural form with the same meaning as valuable persons or things, and the answer is assets. Let's move on now to our language point for today's lesson. Focus on the following sentences to come up with the structure. The first sentence is, he blamed the manager for being disrespectful and for firing his employees. As you can see, we have the conjunction and in green and two words in red, which are for being and for firing. The second sentence is, you do not hesitate to fire your employees and treat them badly. Again, we have and in green and two words in red, which are fire and treat. In this example, we have the infinitive form. The third example we have is the poor management of the staff has worsened the situation and widened the gap between us. We have used and two words in red, worsened and widened, which came in the past participle form. After going over these examples, we draw the conclusion that the same forms have been replicated when we use the conjunction and. This is what we call parallelism. In grammar, parallelism, also known as parallel structure or parallel construction, is a balance within one or more sentences of similar phrases or clauses that have the same grammatical structure. The application of parallelism affects readability and may make text easier to process. To find out more about it, let's watch this teacher explain this structure.
Student essays often contain problems with something we call parallel structure or parallelism. Now what that means is that your sentence needs to have a balance in grammar. Now it sounds a little complicated, so let's look at an example here. Look at this sentence. When talking to the group, he spoke sincerely and with passion. Now the problem with that sentence is sincerely is an adverb and with passion is a phrase. So that is what we call a faulty parallelism. These two things have to be the same grammatical structure in order for the sentence to be balanced and strong. So let's change it. When talking to the group, he spoke sincerely and passionately. Now you have two adverbs and you've maintained parallel structure. Now, when it comes to parallel structure, you also have options. You could change it in this way as well. When talking to the group, he spoke with sincerity and passion. And now you have two nouns. Okay, let's look at another example. The cafeteria was messy, noisy, and it was crowded. Now the problem with that, obviously, is that messy and noisy are adjectives, and it was crowded is a clause with a subject, a verb, and a complement. So you have to change that so that they're all the same part of speech. So this is what I did. The cafeteria was messy, noisy, and crowded. Okay, just so we're clear, let's try one more example. Trying desperately to find his keys, he looked in his bedroom, the sofa, and on the kitchen counter. Now, similar to the first two, the problem here is that one of these items is not the same as the others. So you have in his bedroom, the sofa, and on the kitchen counter. You have two phrases and one noun. So you have to change it so that they're all prepositional phrases, like this. Trying desperately to find his keys, he looked in his bedroom, under the sofa, and on the kitchen counter. Okay. Now sometimes parallel structure is easier to notice than others. Take a look at this sentence. Even pause the video for a moment and take a good look at it and decide what's the mistake with parallel structure here. University students use the internet to research essay topics. Business people use it to hold video conferences. And it is used by teachers to deliver homework assignments. Now the problem with that is two of those clauses are using active voice, while the last clause, it is used by teachers, is using the passive voice. And this is also a problem with parallel structure. So you have to make sure that they're all the same. So, university students use the internet to research essay topics, business people use it to hold video conferences, and teachers use it to deliver homework assignments. And now you've maintained parallel structure.
I think the video is very clear and to the point. Parallelism is important in writing because it allows a writer to achieve a sense of rhythm and order. When sentences or sentence structures are not parallel, writing sounds awkward and choppy. Parallel clauses are usually combined with the use of coordinating conjunctions like for, and, nor, but, or yet, and others. Let's do now this exercise for further practice, but before that, I would like you to pause the video and give it a shot. The first example we have is, I like not only reading, but also to watch films. As you can see here, we have not only plus verb plus ing, and but also plus infinitive. This is a faulty structure. So the correct answer should be as follows. I like not only reading, but also watching films. So we have a parallel structure in the gerund form. The second example is, you know what he wants and the things he expects from you. This is also incorrect, and it should be, you know what he wants and what he expects from you. The third example is, he said that he was overwhelmed, he didn't sleep well, and that he needed help. Here we have a clause. A clause is a subject plus verb, so the correct answer should be, he said that he wasn't overwhelmed, that he didn't sleep well, and that he needed help. As you can see, that plus clause has been replicated. The last but one example is, such reforms help reduce poverty and to improve people's lives. As far as the verb help is concerned, we can either say to help someone do or to do something. So there are two possible answers with this example. So we can either say such reforms help reduce poverty and improve people's lives, or we can say such reforms help to reduce poverty and to improve people's lives. The last example we have is, I'm not interested in getting good marks, but understanding the lesson. This is also another incorrect sentence. So as we can see, we have in getting good marks and but understanding the lesson. So it should be, I'm not interested in getting good marks, but in understanding the lessons. Here are more examples from the text. Over the past several weeks, the instances of workers being forced to work 10, 11, 14, 16-hour shift that began at 5:30 a.m. last well into the night, and of housekeepers being reprimanded if they failed to work or to clean 16 hours or more in a 9-hour shift have been occurring with the increasing frequency. Second example, we feel that you do not treat us with respect and that you do not trust us. Third example, the poor management of your staff has hourly worsened the situation and widened the gap between us. Another example, it is my hope that the conditions there will improve for future employees and that their managers will be instated. Let's move on now to the practice section. You've been invited to take part in TEDx to give a talk to a group of businessmen on how to manage the company's personnel effectively and successfully. And this is another practice exercise. Circle the right alternative, and as usual, write down your answers in the comment section below and I will correct that for you. That's all for me, guys. We've come to the end of this lesson and these are its key notes. I hope you've enjoyed this lesson. If you have, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up and also to make sure to subscribe to our channel so that you can get notified whenever I upload a new video. Thank you so much. Love and peace, Riadh.